The glass shatters against the wall, inches from my head. I flinch, feeling tiny shards rain down on my shoulders like cruel confetti. The scent of red wine fills the air, tangy, expensive, wasted. You went through my phone. David's voice is eerily calm now, a stark contrast to the violence of his throw. Who the hell do you think you are, Anna? I stare at the burgundy stain dripping down our pristine white wall. The wall we'd painted together last spring, laughing as we splattered each other with eggshell white. My hands tremble, but I force myself to meet his gaze. I think I'm your wife of 7 years who just found out her husband has a second family in Boston. The words hang between us, impossible and yet undeniable. The evidence glows from his phone on the coffee table, messages, photos, flight confirmations. A 4-year-old daughter with his eyes. It's not what you think, he starts, but his voice cracks. I laugh, a hollow sound that doesn't belong to me. Then what is it, David? Because it looks like you've been living 2 lives, and I've been the fool in this one. The room feels too small, the air too thick. Outside, rain taps against the windows, gentle, persistent, oblivious to the storm raging inside. I met David at a bookstore cafe 8 years ago. I'd spilled coffee on his economics textbook, and he'd smiled instead of getting angry. That smile, I can still see it perfectly. Crooked, with a dimple on the right side only. I was going to sell it back anyway, he'd said, mopping up the mess with napkins. We were married 11 months later. Too fast, my mother had warned. But when you know, you know. Isn't that what people say? The first 5 years were everything I'd dreamed of. Weekend trips to the mountains, lazy Sunday mornings with crossword puzzles. Planning for the children we'd have someday. Then came the promotion. More travel, longer absences. It's temporary, he'd assured me, kissing my forehead before each departure. Just until I make partner. I believed him until last Tuesday, when his assistant called about rescheduling his flight to Boston. A trip he'd never mentioned. One small inconsistency that unraveled everything. How long were you planning to keep this up? I ask, my voice steadier than I feel. David sinks onto the couch, head in his hands. I don't know, forever, maybe. I never meant for any of this to happen. Yet you made choice after choice to make it happen. I couldn't lose either of you, he whispers. I move to the window, watching raindrops race down the glass. You really thought you wouldn't have to choose? That you could just compartmentalize your entire life? Anna, please. No, I turn to face him. I'm not angry because you had a choice. I'm angry because you never gave me mine. Something shifts in that moment, a weight lifting. Not forgiveness, but clarity. I'm leaving tonight, I tell him, surprised by my own certainty. Not because you betrayed me, but because I won't betray myself by staying. His face crumples. Where will you go? I think of the photography studio I dreamed of opening before I became too comfortable in the life we'd built. The passion I'd set aside for someday. I don't know yet, I answer truthfully, but for the first time in years, that doesn't terrify me. As I pack a suitcase, I realize the most shocking revelation isn't his betrayal. It's how ready I am to walk away and discover who I might become without him.